Hi, my name is Elena Hansen, and I'm a Managing Director of Hansen Cross-Border Tax Inc., a tax service firm located in Oakville, Ontario, Canada. We service a wide variety of clients with international tax issues. Today is March 25th, 2020, and we're in the midst of the coronavirus that turned our personal and business lives upside down, and I am hoping the viewers are staying well. The reason for today's video is to address something which you may not think yet, but you may once we are next year in tax season. A lot of our clients are either statutory commuters or on a patterned work arrangements where they may work for employers outside of Canada, and they go to their place of employment on a weekly or monthly basis. That can be in the US or Europe or other countries, other locations, and that is fine in the normal times, but we're in a state of emergency right now, and our borders have been shut down, and we're forced to work from home, telecommute. So with me today is our Senior Manager Sharon Conrad, who is looking after mobility taxation issues in our office. And I wanted to bring Sharon to share with us what those employees must be aware of, because I presume their tax compliance next spring is going to be much more complicated than it's usually been.
That's right. And for cross-border commuters, which we have quite a few of them here in southwestern Ontario, it's gonna impact them, and some of them may be shocked this time next year. And not many people give a lot of thought to working from home. It's convenient, technology allows it, but from a tax perspective, there are some significant implications to that. And to illustrate that, let's talk about Jane. So Jane lives in St. Catharines, Ontario. She works for her employer in Buffalo, New York. So Jane leaves her house in the morning, crosses the border, works in Buffalo every day, Monday to Friday, comes home, and 100% of her work time, her work days, is on US soil. Except now that she's in 2020 and there's a requirement to work from home because of the states of emergencies and so on, that's going to change. And so the real important thing to consider is where Jane is working. So now that Jane is working in St. Catharines in Ontario and not in Buffalo, New York, her tax situation is going to be a little bit different next year. And how it's going to be different is the fact that, assuming Jane has to work in Canada for a month because she's in self-isolation or the borders are closed for a month, let's assume that she's here. And so her employer is going to continue to withhold her taxes based on the annual employment period, so January to December. But what's going to happen is when she files her tax return, she's going to need to make some adjustments there, because her taxes in the US are going to be based on where she's providing the services. And because she was only working on US soil for 11 months as opposed to the full 12 months, there's going to have to be an adjustment there. And while that's great because she'll get a refund of those taxes that were held in excess, that means that on the flip side in Canada, she's only going to have a foreign tax credit on 11 months worth of income.
Right.
And so that 1 month of income that was historically
covered, partially covered by the credit,
by the foreign tax credit, now that's going to be fully subject to Canadian tax with no offsetting credit. So her taxes in Canada are actually going to increase. When she files her tax return next year.
But Sharon, presumably that won't matter because she's going to get a larger refund in the States.
Not necessarily, because that refund, keep in mind, the US has a lot lower tax rates than we do here in Ontario. So that refund, in all likelihood, is not going to be sufficient to cover the balance that's owing on her April 30th Canadian tax return.
And I suppose there may be delays, right, of collecting that refund?
Absolutely. When you're looking at any type of modification to a slip that's being reported to the government, there's going to be, you can expect some slowdowns in processing. especially where there's refunds concerned. They want to make sure that you're really entitled to that refund before they send it to you. So if Jane's used to getting her refund in 2 to 3 weeks, that period may be extended for a month, 2 months, who knows how long.
Right, right. So what about on the installment side in Canada? So because now, presumably, her tax obligation increases on the Canadian side, so I'm sure it's going to impact her installments as well.
Yeah, and that's true. So it's not just an issue for 2020, but 2021, because now she's going to have the same withholding in the U.S. from her employer, because now she's presumably going to be working full-time now back in the U.S. So her withholdings are going to be correct. But what's going to happen is in Canada, because her installment base is based on 2020, where she had higher taxes in Canada, she's going to have to increase her monthly or her quarterly installments. So it's going to be a cash outflow in 2021 for installments, as well as when she files her tax return. And so there's going to be some funding that's going to be required to make those payments timely. Otherwise, she's going to be subject to interest and penalties.
Okay, so all right, so for now we kind of taking it day by day. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. What if this quarantine, this forced working from home lasts for several months?
And that's a good point. And nobody really knows when this is going to end. Some estimates have it going well into the summer months. And if that happens, this issue is only going to be magnified. And what that means is that employers are really going to have to look at how they're administering their payroll, how they're doing their operations, and how it's going to impact their corporate tax filings as well. And so once you start peeling back these layers, there's a number of impacts on the tax side, both at the individual level and the corporation, that need to be reviewed.
Well, it sounds like this is something we probably want to bring up and discuss next time when we're doing our videos. But so thank you for your knowledge. Thank you for sharing with us today. And I hope the viewers appreciated what we advised today. If you found this video useful, give us a like. If you would like us to discuss other topics, let us know with your comments right below. And we'll see you next time. Thank you.